cap off, and we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are here to talk about the receiver that the Detroit Lions made a trade for. The guy that Brad Holmes said, who in the heck is Trinity Benson? But the Lions ultimately made a trade. Rob Lohman showed him to the Detroit Lions, and the staff all agreed that this was their top guy that could become available. So they made the trade, a 5th and a 7th round pick for this upcoming draft. In return, Trinity Benson and a 6th round pick next season. So the Lions added some receiver help with the 6-foot, 180-pound receiver from the Denver Broncos. And today, I thought we should dive into some film. I got to give a shout out to my man on Twitter. He hit me up. He's like, hey, you do a film video on Trinity Benson. He said he wants the video long. I was not expecting to hear that. I'm like, I can do that. Trust me, I can make videos long, okay? Even if I don't want to, they end up being long. So I can do that, but I'm still going to try my best not to make it long, because either way, it's probably going to be long. Background, before we get into some of the film, some of the notes that I have before we get into this film. I mean, we talked about it when we made the trade, so I don't want to go super deep into the background. This is more about the film, the plays that he made in the preseason, but just a quick little background, a few little notes. So this is the player back in 2019, was an undrafted free agent signed by the Denver Broncos, East Central, a Division II college. And when you look at his stats back at East Central, they don't really like stick out to you. They're not crazy stats, but he did both play punt returner and kick returner, more kick returner than punt returner, but he has experience doing both. He brings that special teams element, which is going to be very beneficial for us. He can play as a gunner in punt coverage. He could also probably play in kick coverage as well. So there's a special teams aspect to his game that he will bring to the table. Division II, his numbers really didn't stick out, so it led to him being undrafted. Even though the numbers did improve every single year until his senior year, where they kind of, leveled off a little bit. Every year up till his junior year, his best stats, picked up by the Denver Broncos. And I think this is a credit to him. He's really stuck around with this team for 2 seasons on the practice squad. Obviously, it would have been great if someone would have picked him up and he would have gotten an opportunity to shine, but it is still tough to stick with one team. So I'll give him credit there that they kept him around. They've recently signed him to a futures contract this 2021 season, and back in 2019, they signed him to the futures contract. So they've kept him around, they've kept him in a loop, and then this season, we really get to see him shown off through the preseason, and that's how he landed with us, because there's not a ton of film out there in the NFL. And going back to college, I mean, you're watching this stuff basically on Huddle. Nothing wrong with that. We've had a lot of guys out of smaller schools that have had a lot of success. We have a lot of guys in the receiver room like that right now, from Tyrell Williams to Khalif Raymond and now Trinity Benson. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's just not a lot of film here. You look back at 2019. 2019, they did have a preseason. They had 4 preseason games. He just didn't play a ton. Seattle, in his first preseason game for 26 yards, he had 2 receptions for 36 combined yards in his first preseason showing back in 2019. Then 2020 rolls around, and we know there was no preseason in 2020. So there's no film to look at there. He probably would have seen more of a role, but there's nothing to look at there. However, then we head into 2021, and things are starting to get back to normal. And he's getting praised really all offseason for his training camp performances. The consistency, the success that he was having through scrimmages that they were holding like the Lions did. He stuck around. He's been able to practice with this team. And I think he had a really telling quote that I really liked, because when I thought about it, I was like, that is a true benefit that you don't really think of. You think of, oh, he's stuck on the practice squad. That's not helping him. But he did point out one of the benefits. He said, look, I've gotten to practice against a first-team defense for 2 years. He said, I worked a lot against Chris Harris. He's gotten to work with him constantly throughout practice, because on the practice squad, while you're not getting in games, you're the practice squad. You're the guys that are thrown out there to compete, to make the other teams better, the defense side of the ball in this situation. So for 2 years in a row, he got to work. He went against those guys and guys like Chris Harris in practice. And he said, Chris Harris helped me a lot. He helped me to learn how to run routes, how to set up things offensively from a small school to get that. So that was very beneficial. And then this season rolls around. Training camp, he's standing out. He gets more reps in the preseason. And really the reason they couldn't keep him is because they just were pretty darn deep at receiver. They have one of the stronger receiver groups, so they just could not find a way to keep him.
Super telling quote here. He was down the depth chart because we are talented there. It's a credit to him that teams were calling. So apparently teams were calling, which could have made the price a little bit higher for the Lions. It's a credit to him that teams were calling. We just thought it was a win for us and basically a win for him, because now he's going to get to play in Detroit, and he's going to do well in Detroit. And then you can see after that, they say Broncos fans might not be happy that Benson is gone, but it made sense because they're deep at receiver. But there was interest, it sounds like, aside from just the Lions, according to this quote. So I think this is very telling.
Their coach said through training camp that for him, he knows he won't slack off effort-wise. But if any of his play, slacks off, then it's going to be tough because all these guys know that even though you're playing well, it's going to be tough because we do have a good receiver room. And it's not that he did slack off. He had a lot of success with the preseason, but ultimately, they just couldn't find a spot. And it seemed like, towards the last preseason game, week 3, his reps were starting to come in the third quarter. So it was like, oh, he's kind of getting pushed down slowly. But a couple little notes. Very athletic receiver. Like I said, 6 foot 180, slightly undersized, I guess, for a guy that's 6 foot, but 4.44 40 time, even though he looks much faster than that when you watch him play. A 1.6 10-yard split, which is about average. The 40 time is slightly above average for his positional group. Slightly above average 20-yard dash for his positional group. 15 bench press reps is actually the average for a receiver. Now, for a guy his size at 180, I would say that's definitely above average because that's 225 15 times for a guy that's 180 pounds. To me, that's super impressive because he's not like Jamar Chase out there doing bench press reps. I mean, this is definitely a different build. So that to me is super impressive. And that helps him, gives him versatility, helps him against press, even though we haven't seen that a ton. 40.5-inch vertical, that's just nuts. That's over 6 inches to the average. 40.5-inch vertical, and you see it when he plays, which I love, but the dude can fly, so there's an athlete here, and his 3-cone drill was also above average at 6.87 seconds. So an athlete, solid size, can play different spots, and he showed out in the preseason and the training camp. All things that the Lions have been kind of looking for within their own guys, he did just on a different squad. And now he's here, we got him in the building, and I wanted to dive into some of this film. The first rep we're going to watch, and we're really going to try to take a look at, the defense and what they're throwing at him, what the cornerback responsibilities are to really understand, what he's doing offensively. I think that's the best way to dive into this film. This first clip, there's not a ton here. You can see the cornerback is playing outside leverage, kind of forcing this inside, and it's going to be an automatic release that he's going to take towards this drag. He doesn't fake anything. He's just trying to get there as fast as he can. They call this a speed release. A lot of times you do like to sell something, but it's just a speed release. Get off, get to your spot, and just attack where you're supposed to. And for him, it's a drag. So they just want him to get out there as fast as they can. And they did this more than once with him. They did the drags. They threw him across the middle of the field using that speed. So this is not the only time they did it. This is just one of those times that it actually was successful. This time it works in the end zone. I like it. 2 hands, goes out, grabs the ball, turns his body, makes the catch. This play in general is just going to be beneficial because we already have seen the Jared Goff play action rollouts back to his time in LA, but we've already seen it, in the preseason with the backups and things like that. So when the Lions use those plays, he can be one of those guys that can drag across the middle, deep down the field, shallow, underneath. It doesn't matter. He can do it because he has the speed. He's willing to take the hit over middle. He has good body control, and he's got the hands to go pluck it out of the air away from his body. So this will be a spot you can use him. Plus, once the ball is in his hands, he got the ability to make guys miss with that kick return background, right? It's in his nature to make guys miss after the catch. So that'll be very valuable. Just that play design there is something we're going to see. It's nothing special, but it is something that we are going to do this season. So we're going to kind of ease our way into this as we go through this film, but you're going to get a cover 1 look defensively. It starts off looking like a cover 2, but this is important because it does give a tell on how the cornerback is playing the receiver off the release. All right, now he's kind of in a press align here on this play, but because he's at the Z receiver position, because the tight end is on his side, he's a couple yards off the line of scrimmage, which gives him some space. Now we've seen him play both Z, X, and slot receiver. We've seen all of that, but a lot of times they like to utilize him as the Z. So there are maybe some questions about how he would win, in a physical matchup, a jam. We didn't really see that through the preseason where he was jammed off the release. Some of that is because you're worried about his ability to get deep, but it is something to just keep an eye on. But they have him at the Z receiver position here. All right, so you get cover 1. That's at the middle of the field is going to be pretty much vacated. So the cornerback's got to protect the middle of the field. You have the linebacker taking this tight end. You have the safety sliding down, taking the other tight end. So the middle of the field's pretty much open on this side, right? Right here it's open. So you can see the cornerback's first step as the receiver sets it that way, in, out, in, because Benson's wants to get inside. So he's going to give you 3 looks here, in, out, in. And a cornerback is usually taught, to kind of let the receiver have that first move off the release to figure out how they're trying to attack you, trying to give you that first move. So he's protecting the inside with that first step, and then he's going to attack outside. Now this is just beautiful. And like I said, we'll get deeper into this, but this is beautiful. He sets it up, and now he's just attacking the outside shoulder. He's going to attack the outside shoulder of this cornerback. He's trying to flip his hips, turn him to run, and because of the speed, he can do that. He can make you have to respect that ability. It's just about utilizing it. So he's attacking the outside shoulder here. He's going to run right at him. Sometimes they call it stepping on a DB's toes. I wouldn't get that far with this one, but he's going to attack that outside shoulder. He's got the cornerback flipping and turning.
In this cover 1 situation, the cornerback basically is on an island. So Benson, realizing that, he attacks hard. He sells this really well that he's going to run deep. So the cornerback really has to go with it. they have no other option but to run with this route because there is only that single coverage over the middle. So he has to respect that, and that opens up Benson back to the middle.
And what's really impressive is the finish to this, okay? Full on sprint, and he's able to stop, turn on the brakes, and cut back inside. Now, while this is so impressive, is because he's doing this off his left foot. And I know that sounds weird. Wait, his left foot, who cares? If he's right-handed or left-handed, I'm thinking he's right-handed, but he's showing that he can do this both off his left foot and his right foot. So that means you can run routes from both sides of the field, and he can make cuts, breaks, inside, outside. That's huge. It's like very underrated, but it's huge that he can do that. So he breaks down, stops on a dime off his left foot. He's got this cornerback completely turned around because he was selling the deep route, attacked the outside shoulder, so he's got him turning and running at that point to open up this middle, which was going to be vacated. Now, he doesn't get the pass thrown his way as the linebacker slides over, but it was there early if you wanted it, okay? I just wanted to show that because it was just a nice way to pop this thing off. We're going to get a similar release here. You can see this time he's on the line of scrimmage. He's at the X. This is a press look, but he's not going to get jammed off the line of scrimmage, so we're not going to get that look, unfortunately. But this is a cover 2 look for the defense. Start your release to the outside. Release to the outside. Release to outside leverage. Don't release to the inside, because then it gives cornerbacks a tell, you know, when they're, because cornerbacks are responsible for more than one thing if it's in zone coverage. So it's always to release towards the outside. Now this play, you're going to get man coverage, so it's a little bit different. The release towards the outside here, it's very similar to the last one, attacking that outside shoulder, and then bam, he plants this time with his right foot. He's got the cornerback drifting, sells it so well. All right, we're looking at half speed here. Keep that in mind. This is half speed, and he looks like he's moving fast. Okay, just that jab, like he's going to sprint. He's able to stop this time with his right foot, cut back inside. The cornerback's losing some balance here, and he attacks him over the middle. This is one of those plays where I want to show that full speed. I just want to show you how fast he's actually doing this, how quick this is for a cornerback. That's half speed, man. Watch this. Just watch this in full speed. I mean, that is quick, right? This is so quick. The cornerback is completely lost. He's flipped around, and it makes it a very easy target for the quarterback here. And then you like the catch. With his hands, goes out, snags it, gets upfield as fast as he can. Easy, simple, it's a slant, but it's pretty. Now this one we won't go too deep into because you can't see much here. All right, you just really can't. But you do see that he's able to, again, attack the outside shoulder of the cornerback. They have to respect that deep. There's no safety help over top. And then he plants right here, bam, with his right foot. And now the cornerback's turned around. See, he's completely turned around, and it's easy attack over the middle. And that is a fantastic catch. Look at this. High point. The guy's 6 foot. 40-inch vertical, high point, legs way off the ground, willing to do that, but also the body control to go up and get the football and then come down with it for a first down. That's a fantastic grab when you really slow that down and watch it. He's playing the inside. You're in a red zone situation, so the cornerback's trying to play through the football, so they're going to give the inside leverage, and he's just going to play to that. He's going to play to that. He's going to fake inside, bam, and simply, he's going to start off a little outside, but he's just going to sell, bam, that he's going to break inside, so he tries to sell it outside, out and out. You know, that's kind of what the look we're getting here is out and out. Starts off with the outside release, then he just sells it inside as if that's where he's going to go. And all he needs is that step back, that little stutter, to get him a little bit off balance.
Small detail, but important. Watch his head and watch his eyes. Watch how he doesn't turn his head to the right and run towards the corner. He keeps his head towards the middle of the field to continue to sell this defensive back as if he's going to attack the middle. See how he keeps his head there, and then he runs that way. He doesn't turn his head. This is also keeping his head up for the football as well, but this is a little note for later.
And now it makes a lot of space for him as a receiver. 2 hands, catches with his hands. He doesn't. If he lets this come to his body, who knows? The cornerback can maybe play through the body of that, get his hand in there. He doesn't need to turn around and make a play, but because he goes out and gets it, gets his 2 feet down, he's able to get a clean reception. I just like that. That's one of those things, man. Just catching the football with his hands is nice. Not a ton to this play. He doesn't get the pass, but the next play he will. So stay tuned for that one. Next one's really cool, but this one's pretty simple. A split safety look, so he's going to attack the outside right off the snap, but it's simple. All he's doing is pressing that outside shoulder. Take a speed release here. Now he's going to get some physical action from this cornerback trying to slow him down. So he's just trying to get that outside shoulder as fast as he can and just run him off. He's forcing the cornerback to turn and run with him. That's all he's doing on this play, is just forcing him to run. Nothing to it, not taking a while to hesitate. He knows the screen's coming to his side. His job is to run off that cornerback and safety help if he can. So he's going to a speed release, get out as fast as I possibly can, pull the cornerback with me to open up the screen underneath. Simple, but he does it right. And it's just that speed that can open up things underneath because they have to respect it. He has to respect and take that. He has to run with him. If he's stuttering, if he's doing all these things that the line faking in and out, then at that point, it slows down the whole process. The screen gets thrown off. The cornerback's already there. Then you have an extra body in the way. Just take him out of this play as fast as you can. Back is trying to protect the inside of the field right away. So right here, bam, foot up. He's trying to protect the inside. So the receiver, as you can see, just attacks that outside shoulder. He's just going to attack it. And he did the same thing basically the play before. Attacks it. He's going to make the cornerback make a decision. You attack basically right at the cornerback. and you attack that outside shoulder. You kind of cut the man in half. You split the man in half, but you're going to attack right at him because now he's got to make a decision. So you attack right at him, and boom, he's able to plant back inside, and now you have that space. I'm not sure how this is normal speed, but it says this is normal speed. I mean, just look at this. Bam. I mean, you see how fast that is? I mean, it's like a half a second. He's already rolling into the inside. Very simple, but it's just that quick explosiveness of the line of scrimmage that's very impressive when you watch him. Very explosive off the line, and then he's very subtle with his moves. Exactly what he's going to do here. Bomb. Watch his foot. They see the outside foot comes back inside, leans left like he is going to attack the outside, and then he sells it really throughout the play. Set up, set up, set up, boom, and then there's a plant and back inside. A lot of space early, and then I like this over the zone. He understands where he's at. Body control. He's able to stop himself, make the catch with his hands in space, and then he's able to avoid the big hit. All right, that's huge. That's body control. That gives me St. Brown vibes big time. It just shows the ability and versatility that he has. When they need this, they want to get 5 yards to get out of bounds, they put him in the slot because they know he can get that space. So having this ability to line up really anywhere and do this is impressive, and then break inside, outside, however you want him to. So this time they put him on the line. They're going to line him up from the slot spot. This kind of turns into a cover one look, which means that, again, this slot cornerback is protecting the inside because you can see the middle of the field is going to be wide open. If he gives him the middle of the field, that's going to be wide open. Now, the time situation probably shouldn't matter too much. You probably would rather protect the boundaries, but that's all he's going to do then is just sell it. He's going inside. He just needs a little bit of space. You can see he gets him leaning a little bit, and then all of a sudden he's tacking outside with his hands. Does it? I mean, my goodness, look at this. It doesn't let us hit his body. Watch him go get it. Watch him go get it. Bam, go get it. Go get it, and then give me the first down. Normal speed as well. I can't tell if this is normal or my eyes are jacked up, but look how fast this is. Bop, and then he's outside, and he's got the first down. Simple. A lot of good against the Rams, whether he caught the ball or not. And this is a really good example. You're going to get this two safety look, and this safety is going to slide down. So the cornerback here is okay with a little bit giving more of the inside leverage, trying to take care of the outside. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to start. You can see the first step by the cornerback was towards the outside. So he's going to start with that jab outside, and then he's just going to kind of lull this cornerback to sleep, showing a drag here. It looks like a drag. If I pause right here, you're thinking this is a drag. And the cornerback's okay with that, kind of playing the outside of his body, the safety sliding down. But then right here, kind of getting him to sleep, kind of getting him handsy, he plants his right foot, gets low, and he just drives upfield. And at this point, the cornerback has to grab, and now he's trailing. This draws a pass interference. He still gets space on him, but that draws PI, and they're moving the chain. So even though he didn't catch it, he creates that with his route running. The burst, it's the explosiveness, and it's also really nice route running here.
Watch how he once again uses his head to sell this fake. He turns his head inside completely as if he is running this drag route, and you're also going to see some wax off action from his hands here, and he's fighting off the press in this situation. So you see it, he swipes the hand off, and he gets low.
Bam, they just plant and get upfield and draw this flag. These last couple, we can't really see the release, but you can see the end of the play, and that's what's really nice about this one. This one's, I mean, gosh, these are really good because there's just so much good to take away from this. First off, bam, talk about going up and getting it. Feet off the ground, you know you're in the middle of the field. There's a chance he gets smacked, but he goes up, takes it out of the air with two hands. Love that. But also the body control to protect himself. Gets down very fast, still holding it with his two hands, and, protects the football, gets down. Just willingness to go up over the middle field and take the catch. You can see a lot of cushion is being given on the bottom of the screen here. That's him. You can't really see anything at this point, but then it's just about the catch. And this one just looks like a normal catch. I can't see the break on this route, but you do like that he comes back to the football. All right, now you're one, okay, well, he had to jump up and go get it. Pass may not have been that high if he would have waited on this pass to come to his body, but instead he went out and got it. He could have waited for it to get there, but he went back to the football knowing that this is the first down line. This cornerback is right behind me. If I sit and wait on this, the cornerback, this is a jump ball. This is a 50-50 ball. So he works back to the football, helps his quarterback, goes and takes it out of the air, leaves his feet, takes it out of the air with his hands, and then he's going to battle. That is fantastic. The quarterback's got to love that because he's not sitting and waiting. If he sits and waits, it's a 50-50 ball with two guys. You don't want that. Plus, the quarterback can just jump that. He comes back to the football, makes a play on the football out of his break, and he's able to pick up the first down. So there's definitely a lot of good here. Very small sample size. There's still some questions. How does he do against jams? How would he do in that situation? How well can he play consistently as an X receiver? But in this limited amount of time, it was good. I know it wasn't always against starters, but it was nice, and he was really good. I didn't see any drops. The production was there. He's an athlete, and he's got that chip on his shoulder. D2, he's got that chip on his shoulder to say, hey, let me go prove it. I have not been able to be a regular season receiver for anybody. Now, this is my chance. They wanted me. They traded for me. Let me go out there and show what I can do. I had a great offseason. I've had a great preseason. Now let's bring it to the regular season. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.